Okay, so we're going to go through a couple of things about our bandsaw. Alright. First off, this is a tool that has a blade that goes in one direction all the way around. The blade is essentially one giant band that just wheels around all the way inside this hub. This is one of our wheel guards. This should be firmly in place. So I'm going to go through a lot of the parts right now and kind of show you a little bit about this. Of course, this is your plug, which is unplugged right now. We'll move that out of the way. These are your start and stop switches. Anytime that you're going to work on this with alignment or fencing or tilting or any adjustment or servicing, make sure that it's unplugged. Okay? Now, a couple of things. This is the plate that you put your piece of wood on that you cut into the blade with. This is your other wheel guard down here and your adjuster guard. All right. One of the important safety things that I think in the pamphlet talks about having the wheel guard a 1/4 inch above your piece of wood. So essentially, if you have a piece of wood that you're cutting, it needs to be a 1/4 inch off the top of this. There's a crank in the back here that will drop this. You make it a 1/4 inch above your piece of wood, right about there, and then tighten up the back. You're doing this while the machine is unplugged. Okay? Then you'll be able to cut this piece of wood without risk of the blade coming off and jumping off. Okay? A little bit different view of a bandsaw. From here you see the crank or the knob that fixes the point of the adjuster guard. So if I counterclockwise turn this, it loosens it up and I can adjust this. So I can cut up to what will be maybe about a 6-inch piece. So I can go ahead and lock that in. Okay? If I was cutting something large, and we're not going to cut anything that large on here, but that would be the purpose of it. Your piece is going to get adjusted down to about a 1/4 inch off the piece, and then you just go ahead and tighten this up. All right. Now, when you're ready to use this, of course. Now, a couple of specific things that we got to talk about with this machine is how it cuts. It's a bandsaw, and it's about maybe 3/8 of an inch thick of the blade. So when you go to turn it, the blade can't turn at a radius too narrow. So what I went ahead and drew up a couple of relief cuts here, dotted lines. So if my aim is to cut out this piece from the piece of wood, these tight curves here require relief cuts. So in fact, I can make those first, cut those out, and then as I cut, they'll fall off as I make my cut on there. Now, one thing that's important is that you don't back out the piece of wood while the saw blade is running. Okay, it can throw the blade off. You don't want to do that. So when the machine is on and you have to pull the piece of wood out for some reason, just turn it off and then wait for the blade to stop and then bring it back out. If you notice that you're having to turn the blade too much or the piece too much and the blade starts slowing, that's a bad sign and you want to stop. Okay, so stop the machine, get some help, call me over, and we'll be able to adjust and talk about why you're experiencing that issue. Another thing with regards to PPE, you gotta have your goggles on. Anybody standing around you has to have their goggles on. And as far as your position, you want to be in this side of the blade with your feet well positioned so that you have a good sturdy stance. When you go to push this, you don't want to get your fingers anywhere. So if you're doing any type of narrow cut, you're going to want to use some type of push stick or thin piece of wood that can help you move the piece out of there or around.